no ignorance. That's very easy to say. No ignorance. No ignorance. There's a culture difference. When I was a kid, this word timuk in Tibetan, which really refers to ignorance. And as a kid, I always used to think falling asleep, especially when you are in saying prayers or listening teachings or something, when you fall asleep. So I thought that is the ignorance. Somehow, maybe it's a culture, maybe my stupidity. And then when you talk about it, no ignorance, and then Baba Bole not falling asleep. That was a little naivety of mind. But on the other hand, maybe it is some kind of language. Anyway, so what is not having ignorance? What is that? And the Buddha himself said that thoughts entertain thinking, understandings entertain knowledge, and gaining a discriminating understanding. Thoughts entertain thinking, understanding and entertaining knowledge, and developing discriminating knowledge is called non-ignorance. What does that do? That does, with the understanding, protect the individual for doing wrong, and particularly negative wrong. Negative wrong, I'm referring to negative karma that brings huge consequences. That's what I'm talking about it. So protecting self from the negative karmic consequences by protecting at the causal level, that is called non-ignorance. Non-ignorance is knowledge. We all know that. And when you talk about knowledge, what are we talking about it? We are talking about two categories of knowledge. Some knowledge, what do you call it? Naturally, what known as gifted. Gifted knowledge. Another knowledge is what we learned. What we learned, like in the West, many of them will learn by going through school, college, so on and forth. We learn. Also we learn through experience of working. And there are certain things gifted. Even gifted ones do need some learning. because they need the condition. The cause may be already within you. We call it gifted, but whether it's gifted or you brought from your previous life or whatever it is, it is. Many of them are brought from our previous life. So without much efforts, with a little connecting to the subject, and people pick up very easily. And we see that all arts. We see that in poetry. We see that in sculpture, those big thing making. And we see that in painting, and all of them, we do see them. So which is what we normally call it gifted, because we may think it is the gift of Almighty or something, but those of us who accept reincarnation and who accept karmic principle, we may call it gifted, but your gift to yourself. To your own gift to yourself, you yourself brought this. And there's also early Indian great master, Dharmakirti. Dharmakirti said, sorry. It's not early Indian master Dharmakirti. What I'm thinking is early Tibetan teacher Sajjapandita. Sajjapandita said, the knowledge, whatever may be, even though you're going to die tomorrow morning, you should engage in learning today. You may not become learned in this life, but in your future lives, you can take it, you can gain that as though you're taking back your own wealth you left with somebody, you deposited somebody else, some bank or something. You go and take it back. Just like that, you get it back. So that is mostly what we call it, gifted ones. And then by learning, by studying and learning, and that is another thing. But mostly, people have both. And many people, fortunately, luckily, has that gifted. Many people gifted. And like thinking of myself, I'm not been to the Western school like many of you did. I did not graduate from any universities like what you people did. And I'm not that stupid. And most of my, I virtually have not studied any of the usual Western subjects, but then I'm not so naive or stupid in any of those fields. If I pay little attention, little thought, I could figure out. and particularly in politics. And all of those. Unfortunately, I have one bad thing. Every time I think of the attention of particular politician, which is always not good. Most of the time, I mean not always, but most of them. Anyway, so these are the gifted things, gifted education, gifted knowledge, which is, and not only me, I'm just using me as an example. There are so many. And each and every one of you will have a lot of gifted things. You may have learned some qualities, but more you have gifted quality. Your learned quality will open your eyes, but your gifted quality will give you understanding, depth in it. So all of us have many, many more gifted knowledge than a learned one. But how much you can learn? Even you are 70 years old, how much you can learn? So really, the thing to be learned is so vast, and our lifetime is so short. So how much you can really learn is mostly gifted. Anyway, so these three, what we talked today, non-attachment, non-hatred, non-ignorance. This is almost like root of all virtue. This is also protection from all wrongdoing. And this is also essence of true spiritual practice. It's really essence of true spiritual practice. Why? Non-spiritual thing, rather anti-spiritual thing, and sort of direct opposite of spiritual thing is negativities, wrongdoing, negativities. What do we call it spiritual development? What do we call it improving individuals? What does that really mean? It really means our life making it free from those three poisons, and it is intent and it is effect. So wrongdoings, negatives, or hurting other people are either through the hatred or through obsession or ignorance or all together or two together. So that's why we're hurting wrong behavior, wrong functioning comes from there. And protecting yourself from that is really become true virtue, true spiritual. Not engaging in this becomes true practice, doing right. So that is all about today. That's what I would like to say. And although I was a little late, I'm sorry earlier, but I think you have good enough to carry home, and that is non-attachment, non-hatred, not having ignorance. So which means you do not entertain these three poisons and stay away from those three poisons and its effects. Automatically becomes virtue, also automatically doing the right thing. You don't have to push yourself doing right thing. If you try to push yourself doing right thing too much, then you become righteous. If you become too much righteous, it's not necessarily great, it will become wrong. So just simply not engaging on these three poisonous, what Buddhists call it, poisonous activities, not letting them influence you is good enough to have positive merit or positive karma or positive virtue. So that is good enough. That is how one tries to live with one's life. And thank you, and see you next week.